Have you ever questioned what reality really is? What if everything you've been told about the nature of existence is only part of the truth? What if science has already uncovered proof of something divine, something mystical, something that reveals the very presence of God woven into the fabric of the universe? The truth is, an experiment conducted over 200 years ago may hold the key to understanding not only the physical world, but also the spiritual forces that shape it. And yet most people have no idea how deeply this discovery impacts their lives. The double-slit experiment shattered our understanding of reality. It proved that observation itself, your very consciousness, alters the physical world. But what does that really mean? If reality changes based on awareness, then what role does faith play? What role does prayer play? Is it possible that science is finally catching up to what Scripture has revealed all along? In this video, we're going to unravel the mind-blowing connection between quantum physics, spirituality, and the divine force that governs the universe. And by the end, you'll never see reality the same way again. But before we dive in, take a moment to reflect. How often do you question the deeper truths of life? If you're here, it means you're searching for something more. And trust me, what you're about to discover could change everything. So don't miss a single moment. If you believe in uncovering deeper spiritual wisdom, if you feel called to understand the mysteries of existence, make sure to subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications. That way you won't miss any of the life-changing insights we share. Are you ready? Let's begin. The history of science is marked by moments that challenge our understanding of reality. One such moment occurred in 1801 when Thomas Young conducted the famous double-slit experiment. What seemed like a simple study of light's nature revealed something far deeper, a truth that echoes through the corridors of spirituality and mysticism. Young proved that light can behave both as a wave and as a particle, depending on how it is observed. But what if this principle extends beyond light itself? What if this experiment unveils a secret about the very fabric of the universe? Since ancient times, humanity has sought to grasp the essence of existence, and this experiment seems to whisper an answer that transcends mere matter, reaching into the realm of consciousness. Now, pay close attention. This isn't just a scientific curiosity. What happens within this experiment defies conventional logic. When left unobserved, particles spread out like waves, manifesting multiple possibilities simultaneously. But the moment an observer steps in, everything changes. The wave collapses, and the particle assumes a definite position, as if the mere act of observation shapes reality itself. This phenomenon shakes the foundations of classical physics, hinting at something that sages, prophets, and mystics have long suggested, that the universe responds to awareness. Could it be that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping the world we live in? This revelation carries profound implications, not just for physics, but for the very nature of existence. If observation determines reality, then what does that say about our role in the universe? Scriptures from various traditions have long spoken of a higher intelligence orchestrating creation, and now science seems to stumble upon the same mystery. The Bible tells us, "Let there be light," and light came into existence. Genesis 1:3. Was this merely poetic, or did the divine word act as the ultimate observer, bringing forth reality from the infinite field of possibilities? The connection between quantum mechanics and spirituality becomes impossible to ignore. Think about this. If our focus and attention influence the physical world, what does that mean for our daily lives? Could prayer, meditation, and intention function as tools that interact with the unseen forces of the universe? Throughout history, sages and mystics have practiced spiritual disciplines to attune their consciousness with a higher reality, and now science is inching closer to validating these ancient insights. Perhaps faith itself is a mechanism by which we collapse possibilities into tangible experiences, and so we arrive at a startling question. If consciousness dictates reality, then who or what is the ultimate observer? Does this experiment subtly hint at the presence of God? As we explore further, we begin to see that the boundaries between science and spirituality are not as rigid as we once believed. The next revelation takes us even deeper into this mystery. How does consciousness influence the reality we experience? Let's unravel this next. If the double-slit experiment teaches us anything, it's that reality isn't as rigid as we once thought. It bends, shifts, and molds itself in response to observation. But what does that really mean for us? If particles exist only as possibilities until they are observed, then consciousness, our very awareness, has a direct influence on the material world. This idea isn't new. Ancient spiritual traditions have long taught that the universe responds to human thought, intention, and perception. Now, quantum mechanics seems to suggest the same. The question is, if reality changes when observed, what else could our minds be shaping without us even realizing it? This concept challenges the idea that the world exists independently of us. Imagine a vast ocean of infinite possibilities, an unseen realm where everything that could be is waiting to be brought into existence. The moment we focus on something, whether through attention, belief, or expectation, reality crystallizes into a specific form. Jesus himself spoke of this principle when he said, "According to your faith, let it be done to you." Matthew 9:29. Could faith be the key that unlocks the potential of the universe? If observation determines what becomes real, then perhaps faith is the divine mechanism by which we shape our reality. Now, think about this in everyday life. Have you ever noticed how people who dwell on negativity seem to attract more hardship? Or how those who genuinely believe in blessings often find doors opening for them? This isn't just a coincidence. It's the universe responding to the energy we emit. Quantum physics tells us that at the most fundamental level, reality is fluid. It is not set in stone until we interact with it. If science now confirms what spiritual teachings have said for centuries, what does this mean for the way we live? Let's take it a step further. If thoughts and observations shape reality, then what happens when we collectively direct our attention towards something greater than ourselves? The Bible reminds us, "Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am with them." Matthew 18:20. Is it possible that collective consciousness magnifies this power? When entire communities unite in faith, prayer, or meditation, reality shifts in ways that seem miraculous. This isn't just spiritual optimism, it's a potential law of the universe. And so we begin to see that consciousness is not just a passive observer, it's an active participant in creation. But if our thoughts shape our reality, then what about the unseen forces of the universe? What lies beneath the physical world, waiting to be understood? The next revelation takes us into the very foundation of existence itself, the quantum vacuum, where reality is born from the void. Let's dive deeper. At the deepest level of reality, beyond what our senses can perceive, lies something truly astonishing, a vast invisible ocean of energy known as the quantum vacuum. Unlike the empty void we imagine when we think of nothingness, this space is anything but empty. It is a limitless field of potential, a realm where all possibilities exist before they take form. Science tells us that particles do not emerge from solid matter, but from this unseen fabric of existence, materializing when consciousness interacts with them. But doesn't this sound eerily similar to something we've heard before? Genesis 1:2 tells us, "The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and God said, 'Let there be light.'" Could it be that this void, the very source of reality, is where God's presence dwells? Think about it. If the physical world is not made of solid objects but of energy and potential, then what we see, touch, and experience is only the surface of a far greater truth. This aligns with spiritual teachings across cultures. Mystics, prophets, and ancient sages have long spoken of an unseen force that sustains and shapes creation, and now science appears to be confirming this ancient wisdom. The universe, at its core, is not a machine but something much more dynamic, something that responds to thought, intention, and spiritual alignment. This raises an incredible question. Is the quantum vacuum the very breath of God, the mystical force that holds all things together? Jesus himself alluded to this unseen reality when he said, "The kingdom of God is within you." Luke 17:21. What if he wasn't just speaking metaphorically? What if, at the most fundamental level, everything, our thoughts, our prayers, our very essence, is connected to this infinite field of creation? If existence emerges from the quantum vacuum, then the power to shape our lives is not outside of us but within us. Perhaps this is why faith has been described as the ability to move mountains, Matthew 17:20. Faith is more than belief. It is a force that interacts with the unseen fabric of the universe. Now take a moment to reflect on what this means for your life. If everything is born from the unseen, then your deepest desires, your prayers, and even your struggles are all connected to this vast field of divine potential. This is why spiritual practices like prayer, meditation, and deep contemplation have been central to every major faith tradition. They are not mere rituals. They are tools that align consciousness with the fundamental forces of creation. What you focus on, what you meditate upon, is drawn from this invisible reservoir of reality, and so we begin to see the undeniable link between science and spirituality. The quantum vacuum is not just a theoretical concept, it is a bridge between the material and the divine. But if consciousness and intention interact with this unseen field, then how do we actively shape our reality? How can we direct this force in a way that aligns with our highest purpose? This takes us to the next great revelation, the power of attention and intention in creating the life we desire. Let's explore further. If the quantum vacuum is the wellspring of existence, then attention and intention are the tools that shape it. Science has shown that particles exist as mere possibilities until they are observed, but what determines which possibility becomes real? This is where intention comes into play. Our focus, our thoughts, and our deeply held beliefs serve as a kind of spiritual blueprint, influencing how energy takes form. Jesus himself emphasized this principle when he said, "Whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Mark 11:24. He was not merely offering words of comfort, he was revealing a divine law. Think about this in practical terms. Have you ever noticed that when you dwell on something, whether it's an opportunity, a fear, or a goal, it seems to manifest more frequently in your life? This is not mere coincidence. Your consciousness acts like a tuning fork, aligning your experience with the frequencies of your dominant thoughts. If you focus on fear, you attract more of it. If you set your intention on faith and abundance, you begin to see those very things unfold before you. The Bible reminds us, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Proverbs 23:7. What we hold in our consciousness determines the reality we experience. Now, let's take this a step further. If attention and intention shape our reality, then how can we actively harness this power? Throughout history, spiritual traditions have pointed to certain practices, prayer, visualization, meditation, that serve to direct the energy of the universe with precision. When Jesus went to the wilderness to fast and pray, he was not simply engaging in ritual, he was aligning his consciousness with divine will. The same principle applies to us. When we pray, we are not just speaking words into the air, we are sending out focused energy, engaging with the unseen forces that shape reality. Visualization is another powerful tool. Have you ever stopped to consider why God told Abraham, "Look toward heaven and number the stars if you are able to number them"? Genesis 15:5. It was not just a poetic gesture, it was a technique to expand Abraham's vision, to make him see and feel the reality of his promise before it even materialized. Today, neuroscience confirms what spiritual traditions have long taught. The brain cannot distinguish between an imagined event and a real one. This means that when we vividly picture an outcome, when we hold it with strong emotion and unwavering faith, we are quite literally shaping its path to manifestation. So, what does this mean for us? If we are constantly creating, whether consciously or unconsciously, then it is time to take ownership of that process. No more drifting through life on autopilot. No more allowing fears and doubts to dictate our experiences. The power to mold reality has always been within us, waiting to be claimed. But if intention directs energy, then what is the ultimate source of that energy? What is the divine force that sustains all creation? This brings us to the next great revelation, the connection between science and spirituality, and the deeper truth about God's presence in the universe. Let's explore. For centuries, science and spirituality were seen as opposing forces, one rooted in logic and reason, the other in faith and the unseen. But what if they were never meant to be separate? What if they are simply two different languages describing the same truth? The more we explore the nature of reality, the more we see that modern physics is beginning to echo the wisdom of ancient spiritual traditions. The quantum vacuum, the observer effect, the infinite field of possibilities, these are not just abstract theories, they are scientific descriptions of concepts that mystics and prophets have spoken about for millennia. The universe, it seems, is not merely a mechanical system, it is alive, intelligent, and deeply interconnected. Consider the Hermetic principle that states, "The universe is mental." This ancient teaching suggests that reality is shaped by consciousness, an idea that quantum mechanics now supports. But let's take it a step further. What is the ultimate consciousness that holds all of existence together? The Bible tells us, "In him we live and move and have our being." Acts 17:28. Could it be that the quantum vacuum, the field of pure potential, is nothing less than the divine presence itself, the very essence of God, sustaining all things, holding all possibilities in its infinite embrace? Now, look at this from another angle. Science tells us that everything in the universe is connected at a fundamental level, an intricate web of energy where no action is truly isolated. But doesn't this align perfectly with the spiritual idea of divine unity? Jesus said, "I and the Father are one," John 10:30, and prayed that all believers may be one, just as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, John 17:21. The deeper we dive into science, the more we see the undeniable fingerprint of God woven into the very fabric of reality. And if everything is connected, then that means our actions, thoughts, and intentions do not exist in isolation. This is why prayer is powerful, not because it changes God's mind, but because it aligns us with His divine order. This is why gratitude has measurable effects on the brain and body. It is not just a practice of faith, but a fundamental principle that harmonizes us with the universe. The scientific and the spiritual are not in opposition. They are two sides of the same cosmic truth. So if science and spirituality are finally converging, what does this mean for humanity? How does this understanding shift the way we interact with the world and with one another? That's where we must turn next, to the undeniable reality of interconnection and the profound impact we have on the collective experience of existence. Let's go deeper. If science and spirituality both reveal that everything is interconnected, then we must ask, what does this mean for how we live? If every thought, action, and intention ripples through the fabric of reality, then nothing we do is insignificant. The energy we put into the world, whether love, fear, gratitude, or resentment, shapes not just our personal experiences, but the collective reality of humanity. This is not just an abstract concept, it is a profound spiritual truth. Jesus himself emphasized this when he said, "Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Matthew 18:18. Our choices, our energy, our consciousness, all of it carries weight in ways we cannot fully comprehend. Think about this in everyday life. Have you ever walked into a room where tension was so thick it felt almost tangible? Or have you been uplifted by someone's genuine kindness, as if their presence alone carried a healing quality? This is the power of collective energy. Just as a single drop of water creates ripples across an entire lake, our thoughts and emotions influence the unseen field that connects us all. This is why gratitude, forgiveness, and love are more than just spiritual ideals. They are forces that transform reality itself. The Bible reminds us, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." Proverbs 17:22. When we elevate our energy, we contribute to a world that vibrates at a higher frequency. Now, let's consider this on a larger scale. What happens when entire groups, communities, or even nations direct their focus toward a single intention? Studies have shown that mass prayer and meditation have measurable effects on reducing crime rates, improving collective well-being, and even influencing physical conditions. Could it be that when we align our consciousness with divine principles, we create a resonance that alters reality itself? This is why practices like Ho'oponopono, a Hawaiian tradition of reconciliation and healing, have been so transformative. By cleansing our own consciousness, we contribute to the healing of the world. This is not about wishful thinking or passive optimism, it is about responsibility. If our very existence is entangled with the fabric of the universe, then we have a duty to cultivate awareness, to choose love over fear, and to bring light where there is darkness. Jesus called us to be the salt of the earth and the light of the world, Matthew 5:13-14. But light is not meant to be hidden, it must shine, illuminating everything around it. Our presence, our energy, our faith, these are not small things. They are catalysts for transformation. So now we face the ultimate realization. If we are not just passive observers but co-creators of reality, what kind of world do we wish to create? What legacy will we leave behind, not just for ourselves but for the generations to come? This leads us to the final and most personal revelation, how we can step into our true power and consciously shape both our individual and collective destiny. Let's explore. If we now understand that consciousness shapes reality, that our intentions ripple through the fabric of existence, and that we are deeply interconnected with everything, then the next question is inevitable. How do we step into our true power? How do we move from merely existing to consciously creating the life and the world we desire? The answer lies in a shift of awareness. The Bible tells us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Romans 12:2. True transformation, both personal and collective, begins when we awaken to our role as active participants in God's divine creation. This awakening is not about acquiring more knowledge. It is about embodying wisdom. It requires moving beyond passive belief and into deliberate practice. Faith is not a theory, it is a force. Prayer is not a ritual, it is communion with the infinite. Gratitude is not a polite habit, it is a vibrational key that unlocks abundance. When we internalize these truths, our entire existence shifts. No longer are we victims of circumstance. We become architects of reality, consciously aligning ourselves with divine principles. Jesus himself said, "The kingdom of God is within you." Luke 17:21. That means transformation doesn't come from outside forces, it comes from within. But this transformation isn't just about you, it extends to the world around you. Imagine what happens when an entire group of individuals begins to live with intentionality, awareness, and faith. Imagine a world where people recognize that every thought, every act of kindness, every expression of love contributes to a greater whole. This is how spiritual revolutions begin. This is how societies shift. We have been given an extraordinary gift, the ability to shape not only our own lives, but the collective destiny of humanity. What we do with this gift is entirely up to us. However, transformation requires action. It is not enough to know these principles. We must live them. Start by setting daily intentions. Before you rise in the morning, declare what kind of energy you will bring into the world. Cultivate gratitude, even in difficulty. Pray not just for yourself, but for the greater good. Seek knowledge that elevates your consciousness. Surround yourself with those who uplift and inspire. And most importantly, recognize that the divine presence is not something distant. It is alive within you, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be expressed. And so we arrive at the ultimate realization. We are not powerless beings wandering through a chaotic universe. We are, and always have been, co-creators with the divine. The world we see is the result of the energy we emit, the faith we hold, and the love we give. The question is, what will you choose to create? What future will you bring into existence? The answers lie within you, waiting to unfold. Now that you've seen the undeniable connection between science, spirituality, and the very fabric of existence, the question remains, what will you do with this knowledge? If observation shapes reality, if intention directs energy, and if consciousness itself is a force that interacts with the universe, then your thoughts, your faith, and your actions hold far more power than you may have ever realized. So how will you choose to shape your reality from this moment forward? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever experienced something that made you question the nature of reality? Maybe a moment of deep prayer, a powerful synchronicity, or an experience that felt like divine intervention. Share your story, I'd love to hear it. And if this message resonated with you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another video like this. Your journey toward deeper truth is only just beginning. Stay connected, stay aware, and keep expanding your understanding of the universe. Check out the next video on the screen now. It's going to take you even deeper into the mysteries of faith, science, and divine reality. This is Celestial Truths. See you in the next one.